Good evening, everyone. We call the Cultural Council meeting to order at 6:08 p.m. on November 13th. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's always a while since I've said that, so I have to think twice before I go in. Before we get going with the meeting, everyone, I just want to, out there in TV world, I just want to go over some logistics or some statistics about the projects. And I want to recognize the council, Lark, Jaime, Joe, and Debbie, because this year we have a 24% increase in the number of applications, which is huge. And the dollar amounts requested, and Debbie's going to keep me honest here, 206,000 and... Yeah, we'll hope, but it's over $100,000 more than last year. So I want to just recognize the hard work of the council in getting the word out in a very short amount of time since we have been a group. So that is to the credit of our new members and to our existing members that have got the word out. So as you know, we had multiple flyers in different languages. We had table outreach. We had people flyering within their local communities. We also had emails sent out to a bunch of different groups. We had better social media presence. So we are very excited to continue along this line next year in the hopes that we can have even more projects. This is going to be a difficult decision for all of us here as we have $44,600 granted to us. And we have, we said, 206,000 plus worth of, oh, Debbie just slipped me this little note, $209,382,000. $209,382. Your boy was in traffic before he got here. All right. So the agenda today, before we kind of dive in, I want to review just on record the process that we used to eliminate some of the projects from consideration. So the Mass Cultural Council has a variety of tools in their toolkit, one of which was a scoring grid that we adjusted to meet the needs of this council. So each council member was given up to 25 points per project, 1 to 5 in 5 different areas. The areas were quality, originality, and creativity. So on that 1 to 5 scale, if you felt that that project met multiple areas of that, you would score more than 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Community benefit. In particular, are we looking at our guidelines, which is another area that we're scoring as well. So guidelines and priorities are specifically laid out, but also what is the benefit to the community? Really, how many people are we going to reach if we fund this project? The 4th area was planning, right? So is there sufficient planning? Can this project be funded and get off the ground in the fiscal year provided, which is July 1st to June 30th? Plus they get a little bit of 6 months of wiggle room after that. And then lastly, budget. Is the budget clearly outlined? I think what we noticed, or I noticed, I'm not gonna speak for the council, some projects were very clear about what they were gonna use the funds for and provided a full budget for everything. So they may have requested a portion of that budget, but they told us where everything was going to go. So those projects that were very detailed and provided that likely scored very high and therefore got the amount of points to move forward. So we agreed that 60% was the number. So 60% of the total points that were available, if a project scored 60 points or above, they stayed, 60 percentage points, I should say. And those that did not will be eliminated from consideration. We do have 7 projects, if I'm not mistaken, Jaime, yes? Debbie, is it 7? That did not meet that threshold. So the first motion we will use is to eliminate those projects from consideration. Likewise, we had 6 projects that scored 80% or above. Those projects we're going to make a motion to move forward with without determining what the exact dollar amount is going to be. So today's purpose of the meeting will be to determine which projects we want to move forward with, and then in our meeting in December, we will discuss awards. If we do discuss financial amounts today, they are not binding. The binding amount will be when we vote at our meeting on December 11th. Am I correct on that, Debbie?
Yes.
Okay, because dates are floating in my mind about a bunch of different things. So to refresh on a couple of things before we get going, I do want to provide us with the amount of priorities and guidelines, which I have on this document. So I'm going to read the priorities and guidelines for the benefit of the council and for those of you that are joining us. So again, when we're looking at the projects, we're going to focus on the ones that meet these criteria, and the ones that don't will be taken from consideration. We do want to thank you all for your applications, because I was pretty much overwhelmed with it. I think it was a fantastic variety of different ideas and projects, and hopefully next year and in years coming, we'll have more money to give away. Priority will be given to Revere residents that benefit underserved populations and lesser heard groups, that involve Revere youth and at-risk youth, that are about local history and or serve our local community, promote education and mitigation regarding local environmental issues, involve new art forms or humanities programs that would be beneficial to the community, are from new applicants, and that are live events rather than virtual. Our guidelines were applicants must live in Revere or be sponsored by an organization in Revere. We do have several that did have letters of recommendation from organizations. Project must be in Revere, about Revere, or benefit Revere residents. Applicant must document how the grant funds would be used. Applicant must include a timeline. Application must include a detailed budget. If equipment or capital improvements are part of a grant proposal, the grant must demonstrate a cultural purpose, be for a one-time or special need, and should be clearly justified by some longer-term public benefit. Applicants should be aware that our council makes reimbursement grants, and that they will not have the funding immediately after approval. This should be considered when planning the project timeline. I'm going to add something there. We are going to ask that any project that is approved, you will be given a short survey after your event to tell us a little bit about it. We ask that you invite us to the event so that someone from the council can attend. We do ask for a short write-up and a photo so that we can feature it on social media. All of those projects that we fund, if you are promoting them in any method, do need to have the Funded by the Revere Cultural Council logo. We'll talk more about that in the future. I just want to add that while we're on it. I didn't realize we had this many as I'm reading it. Applicants must be, I read that. Projects must be completed within one funding cycle, unless a demonstrated need is presented to the council for a one-year extension. All programs must be held in locations that are accessible to those with disabilities. Funding of grants is contingent on both availability of sufficient funds and relative benefit to the community. Field trip applications must include a statement that the project is not already fully funded by the school. Funds, that is determined by a case-by-case basis if we do have some that fall in that category. Funds must not be used to substitute or replace existing publicly funded programs. Funds are not to be used as the sole means of support for programs of a continuing nature. Applicants may not be discriminated against the bias of, including but not limited to, race, sex, religion, creed, color, national origin, disability, or age. All advertisements, I already said that. I was getting ahead of myself about the logo. Friends, you probably like, Rocky, why did you read that? You must really like hearing yourself talk. No, I don't. I just wanted to make sure that we had it on record that when we're referring to these projects and we are determining why someone on the council may have a reason as to why they did not want to move forward with it, that we are going to refer back to those priorities and guidelines very specifically. And I think I've already stated that when we were scoring the budgeting area, friends, it's not because I like having my red pen out. It's because we have a limited amount of money that we have to award, and we had a large pool of projects in which to fund. So when we're looking at it, we did have to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Any applicant that is denied today will receive notification from the portal automatically, probably by tomorrow. Once you get that notification, there is a 15-day appeal process in which you can appeal, and then we will move forward with funding. So council, thank you for listening to me talk for the last 8 minutes with all those guidelines. So Jaime, because I'm going to take a sip of water, would you like to read off the names of the projects that fell below the 60% guideline? Thank you. And just friends out there, we have a lot of spray.
Yeah.
He's looking for his thing. Yeah, if you have it up, Debbie, and you want to read off the 6 projects, that would be great. It was 6 or 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got it?
Oh.
Okay.
So these are projects that score below the 60-point threshold. We have, number one, Thanksgiving celebration. Number two is multicultural night. Number three is this Soul Course presents soul music. The number four would be the Arabic language, culture, and history weekend. The next one is Riviera Beach Winter Wonderland. The next one is Yearbook as the project title, and the last one is Patriots Hall of Fame field trip.
I need a motion from someone on the committee, on the council, excuse me, to eliminate these projects from consideration.
I second that.
You're the first motion, yes? Because I have to vote after. I think that's the rules.
I second the motion.
Aye.
Aye.
Those 6 projects, or 7 projects, will be eliminated from consideration. Debbie, would you like to read the 6 projects that are scored above the 80-point threshold to be ones that we want to move towards funding? Again, for benefit, we are not going to determine what the funds are today. We are just moving forward that these projects will be ones that will receive a grant in some form from the Cultural Council. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going like, we have such a sold-out crowd in here,
Yeah.
right?
Hi, the projects that scored above 80% are the Riviera Beach Pride Celebration, like Waterford Chocolate Storytelling, the Robert A. Mara Memorial, the Riviera High School Patriot Voice, the Crafting Community Art and Crafts, and Bon Voyage Forever.
With those projects scoring 80% or above by the council, I need a motion to move forward with funding those projects in some form. No commitment on a dollar amount yet. May I get a motion?
I second that.
I need a first.
First.
Do I have a second?
Yes, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes. What was the third one? The third?
Thank you. Third one, Deborah? Robert something?
Robert Mara, yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Those 6 projects will move forward to the funding phase, which will happen on December 11th. So congratulations to those projects. You'll be awarded something in some dollar amount. Okay. Now becomes the more challenging part of the meeting. We do have quite a few projects. So if we had 51 projects, just throw that out there, which was a 24% increase year over year. So we have 7 and 6. I'm not a mathematician, that's 13. So we have quite a few that we have to discuss over the course of the time. So I think what might be more beneficial for the council is for us to go in order of the project number, probably, than the scoring. What do we think? Okay. So the first one I think that meets that criteria, Mark, was the Ramadan Iftar dinner. So I will leave it up to the council if there are people want to provide commentary around whether or not we feel that that meets the guidelines and priorities. And then we can vote after the discussion on whether or not we want to move that project to funding. I do want to point out to the team, if we fund the 6 projects in full that made it to the funding round that we just approved, I believe we only have $20,000 left. Okay? So although we are not discussing funds now, it is not out of the realm of possibility that those 6 projects will get funded in full. That is possible, okay? So if that happens, then we only have a limited amount of funds left. So as we're going through these, I think it's important for us to be critical. The other part is if we come to a point in the meeting where we have a project that was submitted, because we do have a few people that submitted multiple projects, I would just move that we discuss all of those projects at that one time. So I think we have the, was it the Development if I'm saying it correctly.
Oh, the Delvina.
The Delvina Theater had multiple listing, and I think the Revere High School had a couple, and I think there was another high school. So if we come into that point where one of those had multiple, let's just have the discussion about all of them at once, so that we can decide which one is gonna get the highest priority. All right, so I'll open it up to the council if anyone wants to start off discussing project number. Number one is the number of application number, which was the Ramadan Iftar Dinner.
I think it serves a limited amount of people and doesn't benefit the whole community, even though the scoring was high when people did it.
I would like to echo that sentiment. My reservation was the number of people. Our community of Muslims is very large in Revere. So programming for them is essential. It's about the amount of people that we can serve by the proposal.
I do want to throw out as well that we did fund this project last year as well, which we did state that priority would be given to newer projects. But Jaime or Lark, is there anything that you'd like to add before we vote?
Oh, I thought this was on.
As I'm saying it with no microphone on. If we all want to put our microphones on, we can do that too, and it'll just bounce back and forth.
Again, I think it would benefit a limited number of people, so I just sort of piggyback on what Deborah said. I have that in my notes.
Okay.
Okay.
My view on it is the fact that this being a second year, it gives an opportunity for further integration for our city, especially for the Muslim population that is becoming increasingly larger. So I think it's a good opportunity, and I would want to hear more about if this project were to move forward and be funded from the person that's presenting the proposal as to how it would integrate other members of the community to participate in the dinner. So I do would like to try to move forward with this proposal.
Okay, so we'll vote. Who is a yes? I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
So that's two. And who is a no?
I'm a no.
I'm a no.
I said it all depends on the funding at the end, I'm sorry.
Okay. So how about, so we have, so Joe's a maybe on this one. So we'll highlight Ramadan Iftar Dinner as a possibility. I'm going to highlight that one in yellow, but, okay. African Storytelling Reimagined did move forward, correct? So that one is moving forward. The next project on the list is the State House Field Trip. So I can start off on this one. Just going to my notes. We're too many. I'm a PowerPoint girl, and I'm sitting here with Excel, so bear with us all. My hesitation with this one is that there is a stop to Fenway Park, right? So I liked the part where they're going to go see Jessica and Jeffrey as part of the tour at the State House. It seems like there's a lot of children that would benefit from this. Where I have questions is like the trip to Fenway. And which school, does anybody know off the top of their head that applied for this? The Whalen?
They're a new applicant.
Whalen is a new application, okay, and this was their only submission, or is there another
No,
one?
the African Storytelling. was
And that's one that we're moving forward with.
Yes.
Okay, so I will move to the other council members for discussion on this project.
I agree with you. I made a note about the Fenway Park thing too. That was my concern. Other than that, I thought the first half of it was excellent.
Why don't we look at the budget of what the cost was, or if there is a cost for the Fenway as opposed to, the buses for the
Let's,
State House?
let me pull up on the portal.
Maybe we can partially,
We can maybe
we can
partially,
talk about partially funding.
a partial funding, yes.
The whole request was for 2,870.
I'm going into the application itself right now to see if there's additional budget discussion on it.
And once again, this is a school that had multiple,
No, only two.
well, they had two, it's multiple. It's
Well,
two.
some have like
It's two,
five.
yeah, some have more than that, but I'm saying that you start,
Right.
the asking price starts to go up incrementally the more proposals that you put in, even though the programming could be different.
So referring back to the budget that was submitted by the project, $1,000 is for the bus. The Fenway admission is $1,870. I would be fine with the bus to go to the State House, partially funding this, if we eliminate the piece about Fenway.
Once again, a trip to the State House is, essential. It's a learning experience. My brother was a guide at the State House. I think it's important that they learn about civics and government, and there is a lot to see there and a lot of people to meet there, and a lot of history there just within the grounds. So that's more than you can almost learn in a week of a history class. Fenway Park has history, but that's a separate, like you said, it's a separate, it's apples and oranges. It's nice to include it, but it shouldn't be part of it necessarily. It's two separate things.
Okay, so again, we're not, if we're going to consider potentially funding this project, we would need a vote on that. Is there any other commentary about the project?
Yeah, I think it's a good project, and, if we fund it for the amount of the buses, would be a good idea.
Would be a good idea.
So we can talk about that when we choose the funding.
So let's put this one, I think we'll highlight this as a maybe, because we have to see how many we get. So I'm going to highlight that one in yellow as well, because it seems like we have consensus here. Yes, that if we were to move forward with it, it would be specifically just that piece of it would be the bus funding. And then if they got the money for Fenway somewhere else, that's certainly not our business.
I am in agreement about the funding for the busing. I just had a question. So there is a second project, and that second project is being funded, you said?
Well, yes, that one did score high enough for us to move forward. That was one of the 6.
Once again, we're not agreeing on the funding, we're agreeing on the project.
On whether to move forward, yeah. So we'll leave that one as a maybe. The next project on the lineup is community meetings at Beachmont School. And if I'm not mistaken, that one was taken out, correct? That one was taken out? All right. So the next project on the list is the Revere Beach Pride Month celebration. That one is moving forward to funding, so we will discuss that one on the December 11th meeting. Our next project that met the criteria to move forward to discussion is the Revere Beach Farmers Market that requested, bear with me, $10,000. That is a project that we funded last year as well. I'll move open to discussion. Again, council, I just ask that we keep it towards, when we're discussing this project and any other ones, that we keep it really towards the guidelines, why it does or does not meet the criteria that we set forth and reviewed at the beginning. I'm going to give everyone a moment. I'll entertain you all with my personality while everyone looks at their notes.
My big thing is that I wasn't exactly sure what we funded as part of the farmer's market. If it was more clear as to what musicians they are and outlined every week that they had, a musician, or they had a street painter that was going to be there, it would be more clear to me than this one seemed like a bulk, proposal that we're just looking for something to support it. Lot of towns have farmers market, and a lot of their stamp from their cultural committee is something, it's not just about the food, but something cultural that is actually there on a regular basis.
Anyone else? So now the vote, if there's no other commentary, the vote would now be to whether or not we move to potentially fund this project. Do I have any yeses? Do I have any noes? So raise your hand if it's a no. If I'm a no.
I have a question.
Yes.
Because I'm not familiar with the farmer's market. I thought the budget might be too high for what they requested, but then again, do they have all this entertainment that they need to pay for? I'm not sure, because the farmers markets I've gone to, like in Winthrop, it's just been the food, and then, some arts and crafts booths that were up. So I couldn't really see the $10,000 need.
I think for me, looking at these projects, we have a lot of projects that meet the guidelines and the priorities that we outlined. one being first-time applicants, primarily focusing on children under the age of, grade 12 and below. This didn't meet that for me, so that was why I'm a no on this particular project. That and the fact that they do collect funds to help fund it. So I think that they'll be able to do this on their own. With the fact that we have as many projects as we have that were submitted, a lot of them, so all out there that are watching us in TV land, one of the questions that's outlined at the bottom of the application is, can this project be funded if the council does not provide funds? And in many of these cases, there is a description as to how they will get the funds. So this project to me seems like it will still move forward with or without the funding. So I would like us to consider using the money in another area.
The other thing
Mike,
the other thing that people don't realize is that those vendors are not paid to be there. So if you're a farm and you're at a farmer's market, you're not paid to go there. They have to pay to come there and display their wares. That's why they're not handing out free food to everybody or low income. It's a lot of organic food, and it's sometimes it's higher than a soup than you pay in a supermarket. So it's catering to a certain demographic per se as well.
My concern was around the cost. Like, it was just a little high compared to what we have available to give out. So that's one of my concerns, and I agree with Lark about what is the cultural aspect of who's there and what artists are there and things like that. And I agree with you, Lark, Joe, about your statement that you just made around the cost and people not being able to get stuff. So I agree. I'm a no.
So I'm going to ask again, Debbie, I'm sorry. I didn't
I'm
mean
a
to cut
no
you-
too.
Okay, so
I'm
it
a
sounds
no.
like the five, so I am going to go ahead and decline the application. All right. All right, are you making note of this, Debbie, just in case I don't?
Yeah, I'm writing.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Right, I'm just, because your boy's going to do all this stuff afterwards, LCC review, okay. All right. Our next project on the docket is the community school PTO. And it was the Thanksgiving celebration, which we are not, that was one of the 7, correct?
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna move forward with the decline on that project. Again, declined on the fact that it did not score enough to move forward in the grant decisioning. Okay, next project, and application number is Tiny Tootie. So the Tiny Tootie project was a multimedia project, a concert, and it did score enough. As I'm pulling up my notes, I don't know if anybody has theirs handy that wants to provide any type of feedback on it before we move to a vote.
It services that they approximate 30 people. They are, obviously children. And I don't know, there are other projects that the library is doing that I think are more beneficial to a larger group.
That 30 people, you have to understand, I work in a library. That includes the parents and the kids that are there. So it could be servicing families, a few families, not 30 individual people. That's a different kind of category altogether. The library does depend on funding from cultural councils. The trouble is that space is at the Revere Library is very, very, very small, and said to accommodate a big program like this, and it is a big program because parents are looking for things in Revere to do with their toddlers during the day. If you had a singer, the same singer outdoors, you could accommodate more families in one of the playgrounds, for example.
Some notes that I took on this, and then I'll go to Lark just to throw out there. The number is small to me. I think what also stood out to me was the mention of having a merchandise table, which, so that not only are we funding this, but then they're also profiting off of it. So that is something that I think we should take into consideration. Lark?
My thought on it was, I think it's never too early for young kids to just be exposed to kindness, diversity, inclusive, because it's such a mean person society right now that the earlier that they are exposed to, you know, compassion, empathy, et cetera, and I think that this program offers that. So that's my thought on it.
Jaime, do you have any commentary before we move to a vote?
I would have to say that I agree this could be a good opportunity for that type of input and support to our children when it comes to diverse populations here in the city. Looking at the cost, I think it's comparable, I think it's manageable, so, I would like to try to move forward if possible.
Okay, so let's start off with a vote with the yeses. The noes. So it is a no. The next project on the docket is Puppet Pals, Revere's Legacy. The project is requesting, I wish we had Starlink right now. It would move. Would be 2,800. I believe we funded this last year. Joe, keep me honest? Yes. So this is not a first-time applicant. So I'll move it to discussion before we take a vote.
Once again, it is a valid program in that it is a crafting thing, and everybody goes home with something, and said puppetry is an art form. So it does fulfill some of the qualities, but once again, this is a program for 100 people, and we're looking at the quote-unquote best programs of service the most amount of people right now.
Other commentary?
It is part of the Revere Recreation Summer Camp that they do it, and they did put a letter of recommendation with it, so, I mean, it is a program that they endorse and support.
Anyone else? Okay. So let's move to a vote. Who would like to move forward with the potential of funding this project? Do I have yeses? Do I have noes? Look at everyone getting we do have to make tough decisions. I'm gonna be honest here, I would like, if Joe and Jaime are both noes, I will be a maybe so that we can discuss this at the next round. Is that fair?
I agree with that.
Okay, so I will
Like I
move it.
said, I'm open to maybes based on what is given out. I
Given
mean,
out.
It's like I said, we
Right.
should not eliminate everything altogether, and that's not our goal
No,
Yeah.
tonight.
I think this is a project that,
we could find a spot for it.
yeah, and they're looking for partial funding, so they're already, so, anyway, maybe.
I just want to point out there, if you all in TV land, as you all know, I love talking to you all, that this is not easy, as you're not seeing everyone's faces like I'm seeing, you're seeing my loud mouth the most. I wish that we had enough to do every one of these, because they're all fantastic in their own way, but we have what we have. So we will move that project to a maybe, depending on what we come up with when we move forward. So the next project is number 10, Hamilton at the Boston Opera House Field Trip. So they are requesting. $3,270. Thank you, sir. And Debbie, I think you had some feedback on this one, yes?
I did have feedback, because they just did it in October, but then I realized you can go 6 months prior, so, they are within the limits.
They are within limits.
I mean, Hamilton is a great experience for someone to see, and, bringing that, middle school students. It's the drama club there. It was, a great opportunity.
What I think stood out for me here, besides the fact that obviously theater is important, I know Lark is going to come up there and say that too, we're both theater nerds here, It is a small number of students, but this was self-funded by the teacher. So I think that if you're that passionate about something and you apply for this even after the fact that you paid for it, that should warrant some sort of consideration. So that's where I stand on that. I think the only downside, again, is that the number of students is 43, but it would be, a great experience for us, or a potential application for us to look at.
It is a great experience because it does mix theater and, hip hop, which is said it brings a new generation of kids into the theater realms. The big thing, the issue is tickets are very expensive to Hamilton, looking at retroactively, and it's only said 38 people, so it's an exclusive group of people. So when I was looking at this, yes, I was looking at the kind of dollar amount. I'm sorry, I would love to have gone on this field trip too, for an extra person going along. And it's like I said, it was a fabulous production.
I do want to point out the fact that they did take the MBTA, so they did save on bus money. Which is very expensive.
Unfortunately, a lot of the schools, and at least this is at Winthrop, they're frowning on using the MBTA, even though Orient Heights and all the Revere stops are close to a thing because of liability things. That's why the buses, even if it's a closed field trip, they need to take a bus. I am not up on the legalities of it, but I was told that is part of it. And the busing for a lot of these field trips for these kids is prohibitive. So the actual field trip itself, the cost of the experience, is less than the bus itself.
So this project was already funded, so I think that the consideration right now from the council would be whether or not we would be reimbursing. So if there are no other comments, let's vote on whether or not we want to consider a funding part of this project. Yeses?
Yes.
I vote yes.
I vote yes.
Okay, we'll move, that project
Yes.
moves forward. Let me highlight you in green. It's such a high-tech thing here. Project number 11, Young Authors Day. And that project requested $1,895. So I'll move to the council to discuss whether or not we'd like to move forward with considering funding all or part of that project.
I am fully in favor of this. There are a lot of authors in Revere that we do not know of, or not given the encouragement that they are writing. So I would encourage this. Many communities have literary fests now, or poet laureates or something, or somebody that stands for the literature. There's many different experiences that can be written about because our schools are diverse. This program services 310 students. That is a considerable amount. And these stories are not just the author's stories, but it sometimes is the parents' stories and the family's stories, which is something that we kind of endorse.
I'm completely in favor of this. Creative writing has been a really huge part of my life ever since I was a child, and it's played an important part in my career. So when I saw that, that's a no-brainer for me.
Debbie?
I'm in favor of this too. I always found if you can write well, you'll do well in, anything really.
Right. Jaime?
I'm in favor.
The only thing I want to, and we can get nitty-gritty, I'm in favor, but we can get nitty-gritty with this, is that there is a statement there that the PTO can kick in a little bit here. So when we're looking at money, I think that that's something that we should consider. So it sounds like we're all in favor, so moving it forward. Again, just want to, you can all tell I do this for a living, where I constantly have to repeat myself. So again, by moving forward, that doesn't mean you're getting funded in full. It means we're moving you forward to consider funding partial or full. The next project was Community Magic Show. Did that one make it through?
That was a repeat again
Okay.
from last year.
It was a, but that one did score enough to move forward, correct? To at least for us to discuss it, yeah. It did.
Yeah, it's a 72.
Yeah, so yes, it is a project that we have funded before, but the amount is $300. And I believe This is going to be done at the, well, so
It
here's.
needed a location.
It needed a
That's
location.
Basically what it is. So, I mean, this is the type of thing, we have a lot of projects that need a location. That
So
if
we
they
don't-
could be added to an existing thing, let's say, we have this magician at the farmer's market, you know, that puts something into it, it's a contribution. So the price tag isn't it. This is somebody also who does this for a living. He does magic show, magic show, magic show. He's applied to a lot of cultural communities. You know, magic is a fading art per se. People like to see it at street fairs and whatnot. But like I said, it needs a location.
So moving forward, voting to move this to, considering to fund in full or partial, do I have yeses? I have one yes. Do I have noes?
I have a yes.
Oh, you're a yes?
Yeah.
I'm a no.
I don't know.
Joe? Okay, so that means we will move it to a maybe. So we will discuss it at the next one. All right, The King is Dead, Now What? The 250-year struggle for democracy, which is asking us for $2,000. Just to throw out there, friends, this one barely scored high enough to move to consideration. So a couple of notes that I want to throw out. I'll be first on the block here as to why I scored it the way I did. The applicant is not a Revere resident. So that's one of the guidelines that we have in there for priority. They also listed 3 other local cultural councils that they have applied to. And then I think the subject matter makes me wary.
I would echo that, as well as it's a screening. So a screening kind of says a big theater or a lot of people get to see it. The city of Revere has had movie theaters for 50 years. We do not have one now. So I would argue that we do not have, you know, the facilities to put this on or anybody to host an event of this nature besides a large school auditorium, but we don't even have the support of large school auditorium to host civic events yet.
Other commentary before we vote? Okay, do I have yeses? Do I have noes?
No.
We have, okay, that project will be declined. Friends, just keep in, we are at 10 of, and we are on project number 14. Like Water for Chocolate Storytelling, that moved forward, so we do not need to discuss that one yet. Revere Beach Winter Wonderland did not move forward, correct? So that one is moved to project number 16, Youth Zone Cinder Block Makeover. So they are asking us for $520. I'm a yes on this. I'll come right out. I think it's a low investment. I think it gets kids out into the street, and I love the fact that we'll be able to go by that particular part of the city and see art that is provided to us by the youth of the community.
I agree on that, and we had a discussion previous meetings about looking for things like this, so I was excited to see it, so I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
All right, look at us moving it forward. Love it, love it, love it, love it. All right,
The city you can't say no to.
you can't say,
It's on cinder
was
block too.
excited
There's
to see
too
that
much
one,
cinder
too.
blocks in this city.
There's a
Let's
lo-
paint some spaces.
Let's paint some
Let's
spaces.
make some smiling faces.
Yep, that one was a nice, easy one. Look at us. Okay. Project number 17. I Am Autistic, I Am Fantastic, the musical. Joe, keep me honest, did we fund this last year? We did.
We did. I believe.
We did, so
Oh,
this
is it
project was
repeat?
funded last year. Just, I'll open it up for discussion.
Once again, the price point is reasonable. Autism autism awareness is everywhere right now. A musical for autistic kids in which they can participate in any way, shape, or form in a time when special needs is being cut at schools, I think is a good idea.
I agree.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is at the senior center,
That
not
was
for
gonna be my
children.
question. It looks like it's for
Yes.
Prospect House, so it's a senior
Yes,
location?
it's not for children.
Because that was the reason I voted differently.
But like I said, there is adult onset autism
Yeah.
as well. As a child, that term did not even exist, you know, in the vocabulary. Now it's on everybody's kind of agenda.
So let's move to a vote. Yes, the vote's for the yes. So we have Lark, Joe?
Yep.
The noes, I'm a no. So it will not be, it'll be removed from consideration. Hip hop chair dancing for seniors, a dance series. It's project number 18. That dollar amount on that one is
$1,100.
$1,100. Okay, thank you very much for keeping me, oh, or that was it, it's 1,000. 1,000.
Oh,
It's okay, Lark, I'm like, we got a
I have 1,100, but anyway, okay.
1,000, 1,100? All right,
Yeah, that was the expenses versus the.
that was the expenses versus thing. So, see,
Requested was 1,000.
she's doing her homework.
Okay, thank
I believe they were, they received funds last year.
That is correct.
We do have quite a few projects for the senior centers, and I think what stood out to me was that the budget, and I want to confirm this before I say it on the microphone, was just straight up for the artist fee. So no supplies. Let me double check that before I put a foot in my mouth before I do that. But I believe that there was no other budgeting listed on the documentation. So I just want to throw that out for consideration, that I think when we're looking at these projects, seeing the full, like, what does it cost and how much are you using for marketing versus how much you're using for supplies versus this, would have been helpful in coming to a decision, because we have other projects that are very, very, very detailed.
As well as the documentation from the last time that we funded it.
And friends out there, we, you know, this is a newer council, right? So myself and Joe were on the council last year. The council's had some shifting members. Going forward, we have committed that we're going to be as present as possible at these events, and also ask for more feedback from you, whether it's in the form of visual or following on social media. So we understand if these projects get repeated year over year and they're extremely successful, that doesn't mean we want to throw them out. You know, case in point, like we are funding the Revere Pride Festival, which was funded last year. And because many of us here have gone to that, and we see the social media of it, and we get the reports back that we know that that's a successful event, right? So that makes it a little easier to say, okay, well, we're going to fund it because we know what it serves. Some of these other projects that have been receiving funds for years, we have no idea whether or not they have been successful or well-received. So that is something to take into consideration. Is there any other feedback on, or commentary before we move to a vote?
I do like the fact that they're going to Friendly Gardens, the Senior Center, Lighthouse, and the Prospect House, that
So
they
it's
are,
3.
they're doing 4
Four.
locations.
Okay. For the dollar amount, right?
Yes.
Which is relatively small considering.
And the other thing to stress, as Rocky says, we're not just a bank. We do not just meet once a month to give out money. We have constrictions, guidelines, things that we do consider, and we invite your discussions online or in the chambers as well.
So let's move to a vote. Who's a yes?
Okay.
Lark? Who's a no? I'm a no. I need some votes.
Maybe a maybe?
You can do it. If we
Like
want
I
to move.
said, I am very fond of passing some proposal for the old age home, something for them,
So
only because they are less mobile and they cannot
So you're a
necessarily
yes.
make it to the
You're a
location.
yes. Jaime?
I'm a maybe, just because there are other projects for seniors,
Yeah, there's one.
especially the next one
The
we
next
may
one.
be
Yeah,
discussing.
so we will move, I highlight that in yellow, Debbie. So we will, project number 18, we will consider at the next meeting.
So it's a maybe?
It's a maybe.
Okay.
The Gemstones 50s Dance Party, that was not one of the top 6, was it?
No.
It was not. Okay, so the Gemstones 50s Dance Party is $5,000 request. And a quick little summary for a refresh.
I noticed that's for 2 performances at the same location, spring and fall.
Okay,
So I mean, maybe if we did do something, 1 performance would be
This is what I was,
sufficient to.
oh, I'm sorry, Debbie, go ahead.
Yep.
This is what I was thinking about with the previous project, was around this one, maybe being able to fund this one. It looks like it's a higher number of individuals being served. There's a letter of recommendation from Elder Affairs, so I wanted to discuss this one prior to the decision for the prior one.
I'm trying to think, sorry, I'm multitasking and looking at all my different spreadsheets here. I appreciated that there was a recommendation from the Department of Elder Affairs. I think that this is one that I'd be willing to consider a partial funding for.
I agree with that.
I agree with that, too. Like I said, I would like to see some programming in the
Senior space.
senior spaces. And they're dance, most of them are dance-related because they need to be moving more,
So-
not less, even if they're moving in their chairs.
So we will, I will highlight that. It sounds like voting, are we all a yes, that we're not discussing funds? So we will move that to
Yes.
discussion for the next one. The Project 20, the Robert A. Mara Memorial Sounds of Christmas Concert, we already are moving forward to funding of some portion. Project 21,
Can I just
multicultural.
add that it serves, for services, are they saying they're servicing 900 people with
Yeah.
that event? I think that it's important
That we
that
know
that's a
it's larger.
large demographic as opposed to 30 or 100, which is sometimes what we do, is
Which
look at the
we see.
And I
demographic when it's
mentioned
serving.
that they have flyers out, they have some.
Robert Mara.
Yeah, the flyers, they have funding from Xfinity, Bokino Insurance, Massport Action Ambulance, Neighborhood Health, and Astound
So I think,
sponsors.
as sponsors,
Yeah.
but it did score high enough that we.
Yeah, it did score
yeah.
high enough.
So when
to
we look at the
discuss.
money, so when we
Yes.
discuss on December 11th, that might come into play, and
Yeah.
that one may not receive full funding.
And once again, it's always a good thing to bring more music into Revere. Entertainment licenses are prohibitive in this city for a lot of businesses to bring them into their establishments. So to have it open to a lot is always a good thing. And it brings outside communities sometimes in just to hear that type of music. So it's extended community bringing into Revere too. Maybe some family members, extended family members will also come to some program like this that's larger.
It does also have, your donation
The
to
food
go
drive.
as like a food item to give.
Okay. I do want to point out, we already voted that that's a yes to something, so I just want to keep us moving, all right? Multicultural night was a no, so that one is red. The Revere Beach Retail Pop-Up, for transparency, I need to abstain from this one. When we were scoring, I averaged the scores of the other council members to be my score, so that one did move forward because, as a result of that, so I'm going to abstain from the discussion and the vote here. I'm going to leave it, Jaime, if you'll lead this one.
We are.
And I'm
on-
abstaining because I know the person that submitted the application.
I have a question, please, on that one. What container are they talking about? This 8x10 container?
It is on the beach itself. It is like a shipping crate,
Okay.
and it's painted. Yeah,
Is it something that's there permanently?
it's there for the season.
Oh.
I do need to stop talking at this point.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just didn't.
But don't they sell the merchandise? So what are we funding? I mean, they're making a profit on it.
My big thing is it's a pop-up. There's not enough retail spaces in Revere. If something, we should have a pop-up market in which more pop-ups are offered. This is an exclusive offer to just one pop-up. It's a great little pop-up, but other people should have the access to that same kind of area, space, resources. So I said no.
Okay, and I don't fully understand it.
I think, what is it, they have to pay the DCR to have a permit there, I would imagine, is what most of the funding is for.
Okay.
So Jaime, if you could lead the vote on this.
So, are we moving forward with this project? Raise your hand on yeses. Nos?
No.
All right. The Wheelock Family Theater Show is our project number 23. That project is requesting $2,500. That is by, let me double check the school that
Paul
we,
Revere School.
Paul Revere, and they have multiple projects, correct?
I believe that's the only one they have.
That's the only one they have? Okay. Thanks for keeping me honest there, Debbie.
They had a program last year, but it wasn't that particular program.
Okay. I'm pulling it up now just so I can see it. Paul Revere Innovation School. It's 100 students.
That's correct.
I'm
2,500.
gonna be, this is, Annie is the theater production,
Yes.
so,
Annie Junior.
does not really entice me.
I know, I can't stand Annie.
Okay, so let's make this quick. Do we have any yeses?
I voted yes on it only because I think to see a production of this sort gives children from low-income families an opportunity to see a major production, and then they have a discussion of it afterwards. So I just like the fact that they have the experience. I can't stand the show, but I think it's a great experience. And that's just me personally, that I think children should have every opportunity to see some kind of a major production if possible. So that's my bias.
The Wheelock Theater has been around for ages. It is now, Wheelock is owned by BU, so that's his professional actors, not hacks, coming in to do a production. And it is most people's foray into theater, whether they like it or they don't like it. Most kids can say that they saw Annie at one time or do see it at one time, whether they like it or they don't like it.
I want to throw out that the PTO can fund this. It states it in the application. So we'll start off, yeses? Lark? Nos? I'm a no. No, it's a no. Voices of Heritage, project number 22, AAPI, Art and Education Workshops. I want to throw out here that this project was funded last year. I will say this one is asking for $5,000. Their budget, this is my note, and I want to keep myself, because remember, I did this like a month ago. I think that this was one of the better written applications. If anyone recalls that, it's pulling up. That's why it's taken a little bit of time, because it's such a big, but they were very clear in what they were doing from a budget perspective here. The person that applied, although they've received money from us, is a Revere resident. The project is looking at 300 people. It will fund, part of it will be pre-K to 12, about 200 of that 300. And as stated, the budgeting is very clear in terms of what they're doing here. So I'll move it up to any commentary before we take it to a vote.
I think this was one of the only applications for that involves, Asian Pacific Islanders. I think it's a good opportunity to bring that into the city. My only concern was around the cost being that high. But we're not discussing cost, so I would like to move forward.
I would echo that on the cost. This is serving 200 people. It's various locations as well.
So let's move to a vote. All in favor of moving it forward for the consideration? Yeses? We're a yes. Okay. Look at it. We're getting our groove now, friends. Love that. Debbie, you catching up? You got everything there?
Yep.
Keep your boy honest. All right. Access Culture's World Concert Music Series, application number 25. I want to point out, we did fund this last year. Also, this applicant applied to other local cultural councils. They are not a Revere resident, although this would be taking place in Revere. So I'll open it up for discussion at this time before we move to a vote. Oh, wait, was this one that we said no to? No, that's the next one.
No.
The next one.
Okay, yeah. So they're asking for $7,800. The, in here also, I just want to throw out, and again, friends, reading directly from the application, 300 people served. It says no for primarily serving school children, which again is one of the priorities. So if there's no discussion, let's vote. Is there anyone here that is a yes? Is there anyone here that's a no?
No, I just say that it's, world music is a good theme. It does fit just into the bill, though, so that's all I have to say
Yeah.
about that, is world music is
Again,
very
all these
thing.
projects are fabulous. Our pile of money is getting low. All right, so we will move to decline application number 25. Application number 26.
That was already scratched.
26,
I'm
we
sorry,
scratched that.
26.
Yep, so
That was a no.
that was a no.
Yeah, and 27 is a no.
27 and 28 as well.
Well, look, isn't it odd that these all came in the same, like, chunk here? And so it was 28. All right, so the Welcome Club in Revere, again, for the benefit of the council, this one barely scored enough to move forward. They're asking for $7,000. This is application number 29. So I'll just, obviously, if it's at the Revere High School, we are funding something at Revere High School already, correct? That is
We
moving
are,
forward?
the next one.
The next one is moving forward. This project is asking for $7,000. The Welcome Club is listed as number of people served. It says 15 in the application. Total, but then it says in total number of
says
youth served.
120.
120, so I'm assuming that meant 150,
Yeah.
and that 120,
Yeah.
so that somebody probably missed a zero here on this. So it looks like it's an inclusive environment to provide spaces for learning and development.
Said, I read into it a field trip, so I don't know if that's expressly in there, but it said field trip on there.
I think it's like trying to help people fit in that are having trouble or struggling, people that, you know, don't want to walk alone, they'll walk with, you know, they seem like, it's a nice concept of what they're trying to do. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, if you, just in the news almost every day, there are issues with high school kids having like super high anxiety now. Bullying is out of control, you know, so this seems like it's something to help lessen that, you know, and to make kids feel more comfortable in the school environment and to become, you know, and feel accepted. So I think it's important. The
Once again,
cost may be too high, but.
Yeah.
I think that if we're gonna do this, you need to do this across the board in Revere. Welcome all families in all schools, not just one school. It's not just the high school kids that have social issues and things happening to them. I thought the price tag was a little bit high. You go to college, you know, that's kind of the price tag for welcoming new college students. Sometimes they have a little something. And like I said, I would rather see that their classmates welcome them in than to pay for an artificial funding that welcomes them in, or programming.
So I think the question on the table is, do we want to move this forward for further discussion at the next meeting for funding? So do we have yeses to move it forward? There's one. Do we have noes? I'm a no.
No.
Debbie and Jaime?
I'm just bringing up for discussion, just the general, it's just the cost. I think the activities that are discussed and the guest speakers and the process, and what they're trying to do. So I just would like to know more about what's being.
So
what the
I
funds
think
are
what
gonna
we
be
can
used
do,
for.
Jaime, Debbie, can you make a note there?
Yep.
We will reach out to the applicant and ask for more details, and we will move this to a maybe. Is
Okay.
that fair?
That's fair.
Okay.
And once again, Revere High School had multiple proposals there, so
And
I'm
one
not.
is already
and-
moving
and-
forward.
And one is moving forward, so I'm looking at them as which ones are the stronger proposals that would service more people.
Yeah, mine was around, yeah, I was debating, but I also wanted to, I was hearing you out too, like if this was a pilot that's being integrated into all schools, yes, but it's just a single school doing.
We can
the
talk
whole
about
thing.
Well,
But,
I think also too, the school is the one that came up with it. I mean, if
Yeah.
the other schools came up with it, that would be something to consider. But they also said in the proposal, they can do fundraising,
Yes.
you know. But I do think, you know, personally, I think a program like this is needed. You know, and the other schools should come up with it as well.
Yeah. So I will make a request that the Welcome Club, Debbie, make a note there, that they attend the 12-11 meeting, if they can,
Yep.
just so they can answer some questions, and then we can come up with some questions to ask them,
Okay.
you know.
As well as the school committee meeting, you know, to make this a district-wide
Yeah,
thing. you
maybe
know,
this
Like,
isn't
we're
a
not
co-
the only council
This
out
might not
there.
be, we might not be the right spot for this, but hey, let's open the conversation. Number 30, we are funding. Number 31, we are not funding. That is the yearbook So, moves us to number 32, community conversations, community circles and conversations. This project was funded last year. Let me pull up they're asking for a lot of money,
8,600,
8,000,
much.
8,600.
servicing 300 people.
I'll open it up for anybody's discussion here, before we move to a vote. I just want to throw out two friends, we also don't have to discuss, we can just move to a vote if people would rather do that, because we're getting close. We have quite a few to go, and it's 7:15. So,
No comment. just
all right,
we can move
so open to a vote. Are there yeses? Are there nos? I'm a no.
I'm a no.
All right,
I'm
that
a
project
no.
will be declined. Spirits and stories, celebrating culture through Halloween and, Jaime, I'm gonna try to not butcher it. Dia de los Muertos, close-ish?
Dia de los Muertos.
De los I'm sorry, my East Boston accent is coming out. The project is asking for $5,500. I do believe this is a first-time applicant.
The library, yeah.
Retroactive.
It's retroactive. The project's happening now. My feedback here was the number of people served in this.
It said 150 people.
Is it
I think they did it on their Halloween night celebration down at the library where they had a haunted house story,
And they had
different.
a
you know.
beer garden, it was kind of,
Yeah.
the block had something.
all right, so if there's no discussion, how many are a yes? And then I'm gonna assume the rest of us are no's. So we will move
No.
that project into the no space. All right. You Are Loved mural project, project number 34, requesting $6,000. This one did score higher than,
It's 4,000.
is it 4,000?
4,000.
Am I wrong? Oh,
I have 6,000.
I have six. Let me,
6,000.
Joe, let
Yeah.
me, hold please, your call is important to
Yeah.
us as we go in here.
It's a total, the projected expense was 7,000, the amount requested was 6,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so project number 34, the mural project, Revere Public Schools. So this was the public school,
It's at Beachmont.
Beachmont. And there were images, so this was an artist that was coming in. It was
Yeah.
gonna serve 350 people. The kids are gonna get involved in the painting of the mural as well.
And it will be on the side of the school.
And it'll be on the side of school. I mean, I know, that's where I go to vote, so it'd be
Yeah.
nice to see
I
that.
like-
when
I mean,
I
I think
mean,
it's
it would be,
great
ni-
to
it would be
see
nice to see
something.
it when I go.
It's a
when I go vote.
lasting project.
It's
You'll
a
see it,
lasting
yeah.
project. So although I think the question here is, the budget is just shows up as the
Right.
salary. It says if it cannot be funded by us fully,
Yeah.
they will ask local businesses and organizations as well as PTO.
Right.
So if we don't want to move forward with this in full, it would be a question of whether or not we want to consider it for partial. So any other discussion before we vote?
I
The-
love the idea of
No.
it. So, yes.
There are not too many businesses in general in the Beachmont area to retract funding from. You know, they might contribute something, but they're not gonna contribute the whole amount. This is a beautification thing. You pass that Beachmont School as you're entering, you know, from Boston, and you might, people use it to vote. It is a lasting thing. I think more murals should be painted in Revere to make it a more artistic community.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree. We've discussed about this type of project, so I enjoyed seeing these. I think Beachmont School's being used also their auditorium for different events, and there's activities in the back as well, sometimes in the summer. So I think it's a no-brainer for
Sounds
me.
like-
The cost was the one thing, but we
It
could
sounds like we're a
discuss.
yes to move forward to consider it.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
That was-
just for record,
Yeah.
I'm gonna vote now. Who's a yes? Yes.
Yes.
All right. A Dance Journey Through Latin America, project number 35 is requesting $3,000. And I will throw out a summary real quick for everybody that may not have their notes with everything out here. This particular project,
Hill School.
Hill School, so I'm not sure that they had anything else in here.
I Don't believe so.
No, they did not.
700 served, all youth. It's an assembly. I'm a yes here. I have no other feedback, so I don't know about anybody else.
Yes.
So if we're a yes, we'll move forward, okay? I mean,
Yes.
yeah, I'm a yes here. We can have more conversation. Yeah, I really like that one. Number 36, stories from our table. That one, the project took place in May. I was unclear of when this took place. So if it took place in May of last year, then it wouldn't qualify. If it took place in August, then it would qualify, because that would be the fiscal year. But before we even get into the nitty-gritty here, is there anyone here that's a yes on this one?
Their budget, isn't it like, are they asking for 10,000?
10,800.
They sure are,
108.
yeah.
And it's supposedly servicing 100 people.
So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna start, let's start with the no's on this one. Let's switch it up. Who's a no?
No.
Debbie dropped her pen. Debbie's like, yes, I'm a no. All right, so that one will be removed from consideration. We're in the home stretch, friends. Number 37 did not score enough to move forward. Number 38, Shirley Ave Neighborhood Placemaking. I am just pulling up real quick. I like how I brought my mouse out and then I'm not using it. So let's use the mouse because that would move this along a little bit quicker. So this is the Rumney Marsh Academy that is requesting this. It is 4,000, oh no, that's the one we already
Nope,
said no
we
to.
are
But I'm
Shirley.
sorry. Live show, long day. Here we go.
Yeah, number
Well,
38.
at least we're making it fun. I don't think that any other committees as fun as we are. Shirley Ave Neighborhood Association. So this project is asking for $5,000. It's interdisciplinary. It is benefiting 200 people. It is not benefiting school-age children. So they're just prioritizing low-cost programming in here. Any discussion before we move to a vote?
It looks like they're just paying the leaders to have like a walking club, meet people in the neighborhood. You don't know how many would actually show up and have some snacks or food.
That was kind of my,
Yeah,
is the budget seems a little heavy on
Yeah,
on the administrative
I have
and
a
then the
question.
supplies and materials, yes.
Okay, so as a new resident, so I'm not all that familiar, but I'm under the impression that Shirley Avenue is going through some kind of revitalization or something, and I thought maybe that this is what that was trying to promote. And I mean, that was my take on it.
Okay.
So,
Shirley Avenue has multiple proposals, multiple meaning two proposals. Shirley Avenue, to answer anybody's questions, is going through a kind of regentrification, rebeautification phase, as mentioned at other meetings. Shirley Avenue is vested in its community to have community programs, to kind of have community input, and to do things.
This relatively scored low across the board with exception of one council member. So I'll move to a vote. Do we have yeses?
okay, I had,
Thank you,
kind of
Lark.
like the idea.
Do we have noes? I'm a no.
I'm a no.
All right, it is a no. We have 3 noes. Okay. 39, grade 2 to Firehouse Theater, and I believe that's in, is that Gloucester?
That is
Yeah,
in
Newport.
Newburyport.
Newburyport? Right near, yeah, no, it's on the water. Ish, is it? No.
It is right on the water.
It is. My sister lives up that way. $2,220 is the request here. I was pulling up the applicant, what is this, This is number 39?
Yeah, it's 125 students to go to the, it's grade 2 at the Hill School.
It's a grade school at the Hill School. Have we funded anything for the Hill School yet?
There's a maybe that we're considering.
This is
That
primarily
was the Latin dance was
Yeah,
the
the
last
Latin.
thing for the, so it's an in-house field trip and an out-of-house
an
field
out-of-house
trip.
field trip. And these children will get to go to the Latin event anyway, because
Right,
it's
the
at
whole
school.
school would go, yeah.
It's,
My big thing about this, and I can be biased, I know about Newburyport a lot, but it's the smallest city in Massachusetts. It's got a lot of history
right,
to it, so it's not just like a field trip. There's things to do, just like within walking distance to eat your lunch, and they just revitalized the whole bike path area behind the firehouse with art, which is fabulous use of public space. So there's a lot for those kids to see besides just the firehouse theater and the water, riverway, scenic area.
I think for me, it wasn't detailed enough, like it didn't say what show it was. I mean, the budget, the tickets are lower than the bus cost, which makes sense because they're going up pretty far.
Right.
Is there any other discussion before we vote? Who is a yes? Lark
Yes.
and Joe? Who is a no? I'm a no.
No.
It is a no. But out there in school land, you are getting a project, so. All right, friends, home stretch. Number 40, Crafting Community Art and Ceramics Workshop Series.
Didn't that move forward?
That moved forward, right? I'm double checking. You gotta keep me honest here, y'all. It did. That ranked, yep. Moving on. Lark, look at us. We have found our groove today, friends. Look at us. We started, we came in hot, and now we're good.
There we go.
Number 41, The Outsiders Musical. This is going to New York City, no, Boston Opera House. It is my favorite book. $6,000 is the request on project number 41. Any discussion before we move to a vote?
I do think it's a good project. I just saw The Outsiders in New York City over Columbus Day weekend. It was very good. But it's an out-of-school field trip, and I don't think 120 students will go. I think it's gonna be more for the drama club, which is about, similar to what Garfield had, about, 40 students.
And this is, just for the record, school that we're talking about is the
Susan B.
Susan B.
Anthony,
Anthony. And
yeah.
have we already moved to Susan B. Anthony forward?
We did not.
We did not yet.
Not yet. I
Okay.
think they do have a couple projects, though.
Okay,
I mean, it's something to consider at a partial funding.
okay.
I'm a yes on that, even if it's partial funding.
I'm a yes too.
Once again, we have no live theater in Revere. You have to go to Boston or points elsewhere to see live theater. We do encourage theater companies to establish a home in Revere, but I think that's also a very good thing to show kids live theater,
Until
especially a book, an interpretation of a
a
book.
fantastic book.
And
Yes.
Hamilton, like we did earlier, goes in with history. This goes in with the English curriculum.
Do we
They
have?
do read it in 7th grade.
I mean, I
Yeah.
read it I
I've
reread
read
all
it.
my summer reading
Yeah.
during COVID. Do we have three? I'm a yes, Lark's a yes, do we have one more
I'm a
yes?
yes.
To
Yes.
partial fund, okay. And there's no live theater until Rocky and Lark do Macbeth, live on the beach. All right, so number 42, the Drama Club Experiential Learning, I believe this is Susan B. Anthony as well?
Yes, it is, the next two,
The
three.
next two
Yeah.
are Susan B. Anthony. If I'm not, just speaking for myself, not for everyone here, I believe this was the one of the three
That
that-
had a letter of endorsement.
that had the letter of
yes,
endorsement.
From the art director.
And I believe I liked this one better than the other two. This was the one that I think, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
I'm looking at 45 spreadsheets,
Yeah.
friends, I can't even tell you. I say I liked it better, but then I look at my score.
Yeah.
They're asking for $2,500. Do we have any discussion before we move to a vote as to whether or not we're gonna consider at least a partial funding? Lark?
Does this have something to do with the kids being able to participate with the Mass Educational Theater Guild or something?
So that was my question too. So full transparency, I competed there 3 times when I was in
Oh,
high
good
school.
for
It was the
you.
Massachusetts High School Drama Festival when I was at Savio Prep, the dearly departed, now whatever school it's called now. We only made the semifinals once of the 3 times we went. It was a very good experience for me.
That's what
I made friends there that I didn't make. I was exposed to people that I would normally have not been exposed to. I think back then, I saw same time next year as a 15-year-old, which was a little adult for those out there. So I like, even if they're not participating in it, I think going and seeing their peers present theater,
And
that
being around other drama
being
kids,
other round drama
yeah.
clubs. So I would like to consider at least partially funding this particular project.
Yes.
Yes,
Once again, it's important to point out that the Susan B. Anthony is the arts school within
Revere.
Revere per se. So they have things that the other schools do not have, like music labs, and they do participate in the drama programs, but their fine arts is the heaviest weighted in the city. So
didn't know
I just
that.
wanted
That's
to
good to
kind of
know.
point that out. And I can second that. I did participate in the Massachusetts Drama Festival and was congratulated by a young boy named Matthew Damon from Cambridge Ridge in Latin. as I got the acting award
Wow.
in high school, so
That's awesome.
that's something, but anything to support the drama clubs is a good thing.
Yes, I'm all in on that.
All right, so to be transparent, so friends, just one thing I want to throw out. So if we're saying yes to something, we do have to at least partially fund it. So, so yeses, I'm a yes. Moving forward.
And once again, I would invite that school to invite the community to their productions and continue to invite the community to their productions.
Please, I want to come see, I want to see high school theater again because I miss
Oh, I
it.
love it. I
Yeah.
went
Yeah.
to see Enemy of the People the
Yeah.
other night. The kids did a great job.
They're great. It's great because it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, especially when it's, like they're really having to stretch. Okay. Enough. We gotta get through. 43, healthy vocal habits for young singers. This is a $450 ask. It is a workshop to help the students learn how to properly use their voices. I'm a yes. Is there discussion here? We
No,
got
I'm a
yeses
yes,
moving.
but once again,
yes.
fine arts and it's vocal, it's different from like straight out drama.
44, funded, Bon Voyage Forever, right? That was one of the top
Yeah.
6? Okay, all right. So I would like us to consider the next, let's talk through these. So another order of Manja Meatballs and Murder, Meet Julia Child, and wasn't there one more there were 3 of them? Or was it just
Bon
2?
Voyage
Oh, yeah,
is-
Bon Voyage.
Is there too.
Is there 2? So we're
Manja
funding,
and Julia
so we're
Child.
funding Bon Voyage Forever, and that is at the senior center, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So the same theater company is requesting money for the other 2 productions. I also want to throw out, we funded all of these last year. So this group did get 3 funding. I know that there's a letter of recommendation on these. So maybe we could kind of discuss, does it seem equitable here for us to choose, to fund all 3 of these projects when we funded all 3 of them last year, and one of our guidelines is priorities to new projects? And one of them is getting funded in some capacity. So I'll open it up for discussion.
The Delvina Theater Company is very good at what it does, so it's also doing projects, exact same projects in Winthrop for their senior citizens. That's why they continue to apply, is because these programs like them. We haven't got anything contrary to that, fact. Could they come up with a new project? Sure, they could come up with a new project or play, but you can't just say that the same residents will see them again this year in the exact same thing. We might have a whole different batch of residents in those apartments or wherever they're performing.
So, we'll
And
start,
the ask price is reasonable for something like that.
the ask price is reasonable. I just want to, again, guidelines were first-time applicants. One is already in the money. So we'll start with number 45, another order of Manja Meatballs and Murder. It was a murder mystery, I think, production. Do we have, we need 3 yeses to move forward, partial funding. Lark is a yes. Anyone else? Joe is a yes. Any noes? I'm a no. Jaime's a no. Debbie, do you want to consider this? We'll talk about it the
I
next
think
one.
we'll consider it.
Okay.
yeah.
So what,
I mean, it's good to have stuff for the seniors and.
let's do the same thing with Julia Child then.
Okay, we'll
So
make
we'll do
that a
both of
meeting.
them.
The
Yeah.
Julia Child is the one of the 3 projects that was not performed
Yeah.
yet.
Oh, so that might be something.
So
we
the
discuss
Delvina,
next
the
time.
Delvina Theater has a whole repertoire of
Yeah.
different productions.
Right, and they go
but-
around, yeah.
And they go around to different places, but we've been presented with 2 of the same
3.
that they've,
Yeah,
2 that they've presented here before, that I know of.
I
Okay.
noticed that as well, and I was waiting for the Julia Child to mention it, that we
Yeah.
could, try to fund this
So,
one.
I mean, we could vote in funding the Julia Child, so if we have 3 yeses, then it's gonna it moves forward, and then we're gonna prioritize those projects first, and then the maybes we'll discuss if we have extra money. So, the Meet Julia Child, so let's take a vote on that. Do I have 3 yeses? We do,
Yes.
so.
Yeah.
The Lion King Junior. They are project number 47, they are asking for $1,637, very specific. This is the middle school, right, or the grammar
no,
school?
this is the Hill School.
This is
the Hill
Yeah,
School.
Middle, elementary.
Did we have not funded anything for the
We
middle school?
did
yeah,
fund
we-
one,
which
or
one?
we possibility, it was a dance, the Latin dance.
The
and-
Latin Dance Festival.
I like this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice production.
It's 600 kids, it's a huge cast, so I think they listed 60 kids would probably be in the cast, I think, right, if I'm reading this correctly.
Yep.
So-
And the budget is all toward, so this is what I will be honest about here. So for those of you that are thinking about applying next year, the budget is all centered around supplies and materials for the project. The only administrative fee that they are requesting refund or rebate back on is for the actual royalties for the show. So I appreciate that this is all going right into the production costs. We don't have a director's salary in here, we don't have any of that stuff is not listed here, it's all going to the kids. So if there is discussion, but I'm gonna be a yes on this one.
Yes.
I'm a
Yes.
yes.
Okay,
I'm
moving
a
forward.
yes too.
Yes.
I'm a yes, yes.
I think we funded projects for them to go into theater. This one's is to
They're
do it
doing
their
theater.
own. So
And
they're doing
then-
theater.
And they're coming up and they're not buying costumes from some
Yeah.
costume shop. They're gonna be making all their costumes. They're gonna be
Yeah.
making puppetry. The Lion King incorporates
Yeah.
what Lion King Junior puppetry, costumes, singing, you know, so
And
it's.
then we can all have a night out and see the show and then go to dinner. So
Yeah.
that's we're not, just throwing that out there as a way for us to buy. All right, 48, Space Science Outreach for Revere Youth, Exploring Astronomy and Planetary Defense, project number 48. That project is requesting
$5,000.
$5,000. It is multidisciplinary. It is being,
The library.
it's the library, but they're going outside. Are they going outside the library?
40 students.
No, it's like during a vacation week, I think, like they're trying to, a movie one day, different.
Budget is detailed. Here's where the bulk of the budget is towards salaries and administrative fees. So is there a discussion before we move to a vote?
I like the concept of it, you know, especially the whole STEAM thing, you know.
Yeah, we don't have many
Introducing-
STEAM projects. yet.
Yeah, introducing young kids to that. If we could partially do it, you know, if that's possible, I just like the concept. I wish I had that opportunity to me when I was a kid.
I think I'm with you there, like that I would consider a partial here. So do we have a vote, a yes, or you
Yeah,
consider?
I think it's a good idea, but I don't know what they're not getting in school. I think that space is
It's worth discussing at the
Is-
next
is
meeting,
considered
isn't
in
it?
the-
Maybe.
the science curriculum at some point. So I don't quite exactly get the
So,
concept.
a yes, can we have a vote on a yes? I'm a yes to discuss, okay. 3 more. 49, Shirley Ave, I am not gonna pronounce this correctly.
Ciclovia.
Yeah.
Thank you. Requesting $9,500 on this project. So I'll move to discussion before we move forward. Lark?
My thought on that was that could kind of be combined with number 51, the Revere Beach thing, because it's all about wellness and being out in the whole bit.
Yeah.
So I was iffy on that.
Is it the same applicant, though?
No.
No,
No.
it's not the same applicant.
But like, they could maybe collaborate?
That's what I was thinking, that those two could collaborate very easily.
My,
My concern is the cost.
the cost?
Yeah, the
So it's
cost.
really high.
The cost was,
The
was
cost,
too high.
We have 2 proposals for, Shirley, I'm not opposed
Yeah.
to giving anything, like some amount to Shirley for cultural benefication, whatever, beautification, whatever, but this one has a huge price tag.
And the justification back here, so looking back on the questions around, they've listed they could get maybe in-kind support and hopefully get some more money from the city through Public Works.
Yeah.
And then I believe this is for 3 events. So if we scaled back on funding, they could hold 1 or 2. I would be open to considering this as a partial fund. I don't think we can give this $9,500, even though we're not discussing money right now. That's a huge chunk of the funds. So, vote to consider this at the next meeting. I'm a yes?
Yeah, consider it.
And once again, we invite somebody from the Shirley community that's, putting forward this to kind of come in and kind of tell us a little bit more in person would be nice too,
Thank you.
especially for the large amounts.
So we have 3 yeses on this, I believe? Okay. Number 50, the theft of dignity, school anti-bullying presentation. Any discussion before we vote?
I think that's important.
I unfortunately do not think it's important because right now it's being stressed overly stressed in the schools and in the curriculum to some of these kids. And no matter how you stress it, or how much you stress it, there's still bullying going on.
For me, again, I'm gonna go back to, the scoring criteria. The budget is just for the person, presenting. There's no other allocation on supplies, marketing, anything. It's just a straight up fee for the speaker. And it's not that we don't wanna see artists get paid or people that are providing services get paid. I just would have liked to have seen a budget cost breakdown. But I will move for any other discussion. So Lark, you seem passionate about this. Is there anything you want to state before we move to a vote?
No, it just hit me as being very important.
All right, a vote. How many are a yes? We have one yes. How many are a no? It's a no. I know, you all look at me so sad, like, when I mean, here's the thing, we did the work to get these applications in, and this is part of it. All right, last project of the evening, friends. Revere Beach Moves and Grooves, project number 51, requesting $2,500. I believe that is on Revere Beach. It was a multitude of different activities, right? I'm pulling it up as we're talking. Any discussion?
I'm a big fan of this. Mine is a yes. We've talked about the discussion around Shirley Ave and the things around Shirley Ave. We is located on Shirley Ave. They serve a large community in that area. It is an underserved population. They do this at Revere Beach. So we talked about Ciclovia, using their bikes, things like that. So I'm a yes on this one.
This is a blended event. It's on the beach, so it not only services the Shirley community, it services the beach community, and it services the Beachmont community. So 3 communities at once, and utilizing the beach for concerts or general purpose. It's accessible by T2, so anybody can come from outside of the community to come enjoy it as well. So it's a welcoming experience.
And one other thing I want to add too, I was actually exercising on the beach when this happened. And that's why I stopped and I took some pictures there. We did it for advertising. And it was great because they had live music, they had exercise, they had food. So they tried to make it happen, but they always have to struggle with funding, which is something they discuss. So apply for things like this. And I think it hits a lot of the priorities that we have listed, so.
I'm a yes, so let's vote on it. Okay. All right, friends,
We did it.
we did it. So, the next step, and this, I don't think we need a ton of homework, Debbie, you're gonna give me a recap here. keep me
Yeah,
honest.
I'm gonna make a list from your grant thing and just put the projects and our maybes and yes, so we can get an idea of what they're asking for, and maybe we can
And,
come
or
up with
just,
some
can
funding.
you confirm with me the list of no's? Because I need to send out
Yes,
the decline letters.
Okay.
Some of them I did while we were doing it.
Yeah, I
but
wrote them all
there
down,
were a
yeah.
lot, we were firing off.
Okay.
So I wanna make sure that we got,
I
The
can,
right ones.
I can meet with Debbie quickly, because I color coded them all.
Yep.
On the file that we did, so that I
Yeah.
can send them to you.
yeah, send it to me and then I'll take care of it tomorrow.
The other thing is to have an additive total of we're not voting on the budget, but just to have an additive total of what our start-off budget
Right.
right now with what, if we gave everybody everything they wanted right now, or
Like, we
whatever.
wouldn't have enough money.
No, but
We wouldn't. No, I'll
I'm just
do-
saying to kind of
yeah.
have some sort of cumulative what
Yeah.
these projects, as they stand, that we eliminated a couple a
Yeah.
couple
Oh, what
projects.
they're asking
So
for,
what,
what
so,
we have, yeah.
so basically that we're down to X, X amount with
It's,
the,
yeah, so what I'll
elimination.
do is,
Because we told them the starting point at the beginning of the night, the 209,
yeah. we'll,
that,
yeah, and then
thousand. So
at the
wherever
beginning
we're
of the-
starting from at the
Yeah.
beginning.
At the beginning, we'll do
Okay.
that, but what I'll do is, when, we have a little bit of time, I'll cut the data in a way, or Jaime, you're good at Excel, right? You can,
I was gonna.
tagging you in,
I was
tagging
gonna
you in.
mention-
Yeah, maybe you can
I was
eliminate all
gonna
the
mention
ones
that.
that.
I was actually pulling the numbers as far as
Do you
like
have the
the
numbers right
60
there?
to
Do you have
69.
what we,
Not 100%, so I don't want to say it out loud, but
Yeah.
I'll clean it up,
when
Yeah.
we
send
hang
it
up,
to you,
we'll-
when we come back, we'll
Yeah.
give you the number.
Yeah, and send it to everyone, and we can kind of play around with maybe what we're thinking about funding.
And one thing that we can consider if we want to fund, if we want to have, we discussed having like an awards program or a grant night for the people that we're accepting. So if we do want to do that, we can take 5%, which is $2,000. So if we want to do that, that will be a vote at the beginning of the next meeting, and that would bring us down a little bit. I think it would be nice. I don't think we can pull off a big, large project in the set amount. Remember our goals for the next couple of years. But I think we could certainly pull off an event with the mayor and the council to, print out some certificates, have some food, and maybe hear a little bit about each of the projects. I think that would be a really good idea, and maybe we could find one of the local restaurants that maybe will help us out there. So, great work today, team.
It's a good idea, I like that idea.
Yeah, like just a little, like, that's an easy, like, we were trying to do the Miss Revere Beach last year and then we lost, so it's like, that's a pageant, y'all know me, the pageant girl here, is a lot bigger than what this would be. I think we can make this work.
The concept with the pageant is that, or anything, is that the cultural committee can do some programming, on their own, up to $2,000. They can also get funds at that, have a little tip jar and say, put your thing in, or sell T-shirts. But other councils do things like that. The Winthrop has, I bring up Winthrop because I know what they
Yeah,
do, but
working
they have
there.
bands, bands on the beach, and it's just funded by the cultural council. The council is there, it's a presence. It's to have something, kind of an annual, something annually that has our, moniker and stuff, that not only do we give out, but we also give opportunities. So this might be an opportunity for us to see a new band that we want to bring up and make a showcase, or a new DJ that we want to showcase at even a larger, event or something like that. See how a small event, works out. And bring back some of the flair to Revere that used to be here, that we're not just transitory apartment buildings. We are cultural, we're growing, we're thriving, we're communities, we're neighborhoods, that live and do things.
Right. All right, motion to adjourn. First, do I have a second?
Yes.
Adjourned at 7:45. Good night.
Thank you.